Now, what's, of course, on everybody's mind the last 2 months or so is, what's going to be the situation in terms of health in the United States, and what's going to be the situation in terms of the economy in the United States in the months and perhaps the years to come. And I don't really have anything to add to your knowledge on health. In school, I did okay in accounting, but I was a disaster in biology. And I'm learning about these various matters the same way you are. And I think, personally, I feel extraordinarily good about being able to listen to Dr. Fauci, who I never heard of a year ago. But I think we're very, very fortunate as a country to have somebody at 79 years of age who appears to be able to work 24 hours a day and keep a good humor about him and communicate in a very, very straightforward matter about fairly complex subjects, and tell you when he knows something and when he doesn't know something. So I'm not going to talk about any political figures at all, or politics generally this afternoon, but I do feel that I owe a huge debt of gratitude to Dr. Fauci for educating and informing me, actually along with my friend Bill Gates too, as to what's going on. And I know I get it from a straight shooter when I get it from either one of those. So thank you, Dr. Fauci. When this hit us, and as I sit here in this auditorium with 17 or 18,000 empty seats, the last time I was here, it was absolutely packed. Creighton was playing Villanova, and there were 17 or 18,000, whatever it holds. It was full. And there wasn't one person in that crowd, this was in January, there wasn't one person in that crowd that didn't think that March Madness wasn't going to occur. I mean, it's been a flip of the switch in a huge way in terms of national behavior, the national psyche. It's dramatic. And when we started on this journey, which we didn't ask for, it seemed to me there was an extraordinary wide variety of possibilities on both the health side and on the economic side. I mean, it was, there was DEFCON 5 on one side and DEFCON 1 on the other side, and nobody really knows, of course, all the possibilities that there are, and they don't know what probability factor to stick on them. But in this particular situation, it did seem to me that there was an extraordinary range of things that could happen on the health side, and an extraordinary range in terms of the economy. And of course, they intersect and affect each other, so they're bouncing off each other as you go along. And I would say again, I don't know anything you don't know about health matters, but I do think the range of possibilities has narrowed down somewhat in that respect. We know we're not getting a best case, and we know we're not getting a worst case. The possibility initially of the virus was hard to evaluate, and it's still hard to evaluate. There's a lot of things we've learned about it, and a lot of things we know we don't know, but at least we know what we don't know, and some very smart people are working on it, and we're learning as we go along. But the virus obviously has been very transmissible, but on the good side, and it's not not that good, but it is not as lethal as it might have been. We had a Spanish flu in 1918, and my dad and 4 siblings and his parents went through it, and they have a terrific story in the March 15th edition of the Omaha World Herald that you can go to omaha.com and look up. It's also on the first page, I believe, of Google if you put in Spanish flu Omaha. And during that particular time, in maybe 4 months or so, Omaha had 974, I believe, deaths. And that was 0.5% of the population. And that figure wasn't greatly different than around the country. So if you think of 0.5% of the population now, you're talking 1.7 million or thereabouts people. And unfortunately, in terms of the worst case, this does not appear to, in fact, I think you can almost rule it out, it being as lethal as the Spanish flu was. But it's very, very transmissible. And of course, we have the problem, we don't know the denominator in terms of exactly how lethal it is, because we don't know how many people have had it and didn't know they had it. But in any event, the range of probabilities on health have narrowed down somewhat. I would say the range of probabilities or possibilities and on the economic side are still extraordinarily wide. We do not know exactly what happens when you voluntarily shut down a substantial portion of your society. In 2008 and 2009, our economic train went off the tracks. And there were some reasons why the roadbed was weak in terms of the banks and all of that sort of thing. But the train went. This time we just pulled the train off the tracks and put it on a siding. And I don't really know of any parallel in terms of a very, very, well, the most important country in the world, most productive, huge population, in effect, sidelining its economy and its workforce, and obviously and unavoidably creating a huge amount of anxiety and changing people's psyche and causing them to somewhat lose their bearings in many cases, understandably. This is quite an experiment, and we may know the answer to most of the questions reasonably soon, but we may not know the answers to some very important questions for many years. So it still has this enormous range of possibilities.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.